Welcome, Aquarius, to Ashes to Empress. This is Rosa, and today we are going to be looking at March 2026. How do we stop being in two separate worlds, two separate realities you're living? This is the third month of this energy, and this month you will be marching over that threshold that you have now created for yourself in order to attain the world you want. Now, I'm not saying you've figured out your entire year yet. We're not there yet. But the last 2 months have definitely been a huge thing for you, okay? We started January. Now, for Aquarians who have not yet seen your annual reading, please go back and check that out. Lots of information I'm sure you're going to want to have. Oh, there we go. And for the rest of you who have and you need a little refresher, you know where to find it. All that being said and done, we had January where you were literally the hanged man, okay? You were keeping yourself stuck in a situation. What situation was that? Having two parallel worlds that you're living. You are probably one person at home, one person at work, or one person with friends, one person with family, and you have two very different lifestyles happening in those two worlds. And this, my dear Aquarius, is exhausting. Now, we moved on to February. February, sponsored by our favorite Princess of Swords, and that brought to us, what did that bring to us? Well, it brought to us clarity, some kind of message, new possibility. And here we are. Here we are now in the month of March. And we start off with these two beautiful cards. Angel of Strength, which in the tarot represents the Strength card, and Strategy. Journal log. I believe I may have mentioned in your annual possibly the necessity of a planner or writing things down, journaling things down. I'm going by memory here, but so forgive me if my memory is a little flawed, but I do feel that that was an ocean, and this March is where you're going to start that. Now, if you recall your entire T1, so January, February, March, you also had the overarching energy of death, which was a huge transformation. Aquarius, be kind to yourself, because going from two worlds to one, being caught in between worlds, that's not an easy task to do. So you're pulling that off in about 3 months so that you can finally set yourself on the journey of what your 2026 is supposed to be. So, what do you say? Are we ready for this threshold? I think the cards say you need strength and you need a strategy. Because, bang, Ace of Swords. I'm liking this already. Your choice is coming. All the possibilities that you can be seeing. Ooh, so far I'm like, and do I need to make this up? I can't make this up. I can't even set this up. Look at this. Now, this is the King of Wands, okay? So we're going to talk about the King of Wands energy. But can you tell me, do you not see the theme here? You need to be strong. Now, we'll see where this reading goes, but strength is not only necessary externally. Sometimes the biggest strength we need, Aquarius, is within ourselves. Because it's very easy in a moment of transformation to go back to what felt comfortable. Okay? But you have to face that status quo. You need to face that comfort zone so that you can leave what felt comfortable and go towards what felt right. Ooh, new world happening. I love this. The Hierophant, teachers, spiritual teachers, a cup coming in. Let's see if you should take this. And, oh, what did I just say? What did I just say, Aquarius? You need to be strong because going to what felt comfortable is easier than facing a transformation. Your biggest strength is going to be necessary to deal with yourself, because your Hanged Man represented who you were in January. You're going to want to go back to, you're not going to want to go back to it. You're going to have a tendency to go back to it because it is what you recognize as being the known. You know, they say, you know what you have, you don't know what you'll get. Well, that's the notion here. You know who you were. You're not too sure who you're going to be. So we have end of March, huge necessity for strength, because you may go back to, or have a tendency to, even unwillingly go back to the part of you that you're trying to move on from and transform. Be patient. Baby steps here. Baby steps, but they're still steps, okay? This is not a status quo. This is not, I'll do it later. This is a daily continual, because you are at that threshold. You now need the courage to go over that, because you can't keep doing this, okay? All right, Aquarius, let's dig in. Beautiful beginning of your month, okay? This is the Ace of Swords. This is inspiration, but this is intelligence. Not inspiration as in like, oh, I want to paint, I'm inspired. This is mental inspiration. I'm driven. Let's go. I have a plan. Because don't forget, you had the Princess of Swords in the last month, right? So something came to you in February. You learned something, you realized something, you gained a knowledge, you gained clarity. Now you're taking that and you're gonna, I'm gonna do this. I'm going to change my world around. The world card. Out with the old, in with the new. This is about new opportunities. This is about everything is possible. This is about being on top of the world. This is about seeing where you want to go from a higher level. This is what you're holding in the palm of your hand is the world. You are going into March with a blazing swords and all the willpower and all the inspiration and all the I will and I can'ts of the world. And that is going to last about a week and a half. It's like when you sign up to the gym. We're all gung-ho. And then we go once, right? I'm not saying this to discourage you. I'm saying this so you can be mindful of it, okay? Because that is the bliss moment. That is the dreaming moment, the honeymoon stage of the life we want to build. Week 2 is going to come. And week 2 is sponsored by our favorite card of choice, the Two of Pentacles. You're juggling thoughts. You're juggling notions. You're juggling priorities. You're probably juggling a million things to do at the same time, because your emotions, you see the water in the back? Those ships are not having a good time. Your emotions may be a bit all over the way, all over the place. And this, paired up with the Hierophant, is telling me it is time to realize that this change, this transformation needs to be harmonious. This needs to be something that you handle with care. This isn't a today to tomorrow, boom, done, let's go. This is something you need to eloquently work with yourself, with your energies, and the Hierophant represents spiritual guidance. Could be a spiritual teacher, could be energy work that you're doing, but definitely seeking additional knowledge, okay? It can also be representing the power in prayer, right? This can definitely be ask for the strength from the universe, ask for that spiritual guidance, ask for a different way of seeing this balancing act, maybe a different perception, universal conscious knowledge. Like, this is definitely a communication with spirit, but there's a choice being made here, okay? Because I cannot do a transformation unless I'm willing to change certain aspects, right? And sometimes that choice has to do with saying no, which when I'm living in two different worlds doesn't seem to be a word you've said too often. Be patient. Be patient, because this dance here is going to take a while, okay? But it's going to be worth it, and you're going to get used to things being a little different than, hey, sure, yeah, no problem, I'll get this done, I'll get this. Be patient. Also, when answering a request, if somebody asks you something, create a patience in yourself between you and the need to answer right away. There needs to be a reflection period here for you, because the transformation you're doing is not an easy one, okay? Your optimism that you went into the month of March with is still going to ride on here, okay? You're still going to see this, because here, third week, we represent all the possibilities, everything that can fulfill my heart, everything that I can have, everywhere that this can lead. You are seeing that perfect life where the two worlds, part of the two worlds, because you can't have the two worlds completely come together. That will collide, that will clash. You need to decide. This decision here is what part of which world are you willing to let go of, okay? And that's a huge part of this decision here. And now you start piecing together how these two realities can coexist, what parts of those can live together, what parts you had to let go of, and all these possibilities of what can be. The Seven of Cups can, however, also talk about taking a pause. Okay, you're seeking answers. It could be as much as I am envisioning what's coming, but it can also be seeking answers because there's just way too much happening. Cups in my heart. There's way too. I can't see anything clear at this point. Okay, and that's where we're piggybacking this with the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups, which talks about security, stability. It also speaks about emotional security, but this is something's being brought into us. Although you see all these cups, there's still one that you're not considering. So these cups, like I said, represents how your two worlds can come together. And as much as you have these seven that you're like, oh, it could work this way, it could work that way. Okay, if I let go of this many outings, I can then do this instead. And you're trying to find that leeway. But it's telling me that in all the scenarios that you're piecing together and all the options that you have, there's still one you haven't thought of. And that's the one that is going to work out the best for you, okay? So be patient, because your initial assessment of how this could be is it's not your best case scenario yet. This one is going to come, but it's going to come in time. So be patient with yourself. You do not have to come up with this answer right here, right now, okay? Because before you come up with this answer, you need to go through this. And before I get to the last week, because this is definitely the end of March, before I get to the end of March, when you're doing this activity, very important here, the card of strategy talks to us about writing things down. There is oh good heavens, now it's not going to come to mind, but there's a verse in a song, an Italian song, that says, if it is all written down, then it becomes true. And I live by that, because once you write it down black on white, well, it's not just a wish that was in your mind or a cute little thought, it becomes something that is now in a way permanent. But you're coming up with a negotiation with yourself. I can't live in these two split worlds anymore. I need to make it one. But I can't have both 100% coming together. This is going to collide. This is going to be a disaster. So what parts of each world am I willing, have I A, outgrown, or B, willing to let go of or diminish a bit, okay? And you make two lists. And in your journal, you write what parts of each world, and you know what they are. It could be work versus family. It could be friends versus home. It could be hobbies versus career. Whatever your conflicting worlds are, make your list. What do I love and absolutely need? What am I willing to let go? What have I outgrown? And write it down, because there's going to be combinations of these lists that will give you all these options. But again, be patient. I'm not saying it, the cards are saying it. Be patient. Because even if you come up with a bunch of options, you're not at that point yet to have come up with the actual scenario. You haven't come up with your best scenario yet. Why? Because this still has to happen. End of March. Double strength. Angel of Strength, King of Wands, which really represents the strength card in this case. So King is the one who masters his suit, okay? This is Wands, this is doing it. King of Wands, when he transforms, he ain't ever going back to his old self, okay? He is that lion. He is solid. It is stone. When he moves, okay? And that's the energy you need to embody here. Because something's going to happen as you get to the end of the month. And all of a sudden, you would have made this cute little list. You would have had all these scenarios. And something happens. Somebody upsets you, or somebody gives you a proposition, or somebody says, hey, why don't we do this instead? And all of a sudden, you're back to the hanged man that was in January. Okay? And all this went out the bloody window. You don't want to be this hangman. You don't need to be this hangman, because the hangman is the one that lives between two separate worlds. The hangman is not the one who crosses the threshold holding in his hand the world he wants. That's the King of Wands. You got it? So this to me is a double emphasis of how you need to be strong against your own acceptance. What's that word I'm looking for? Good heavens, there's this word on the tip of my tongue for this? Complacency. You need to be strong against your own complacency. Because if you are not serious about this, if you are not looking at your options, logging it down, serious about living that life where you are in one world with both parts that please you, but you've had to give something from each world up. You've had to have this conversation with yourself. You have to assess what you've outgrown. If you are serious about all that, then you get to the last week of March and you are the King of Wands. Now, King, masculine, feminine, interchange this, okay? Get the notion of what I'm saying. You are going to be at that threshold holding the world in your hands, and you are crossing this off, and you are having a fantastic next 3 months in 2026, starting to build the world you want, starting to build the life you desire. But if you are not embodying this energy, this strength, this power of conviction that enough is enough with this being stuck between worlds, you or minus will push rewind on your VHS. My God, I just gave my age away. Your VHS, and go back to January 1st, because that's when you were the hangman in January, kind of stuck, kind of not, kind of hanging, kind of by your own will, not really a victim, not really knowing how to handle all this, and bouncing around, okay? You do not want to be this. So be patient here. Be patient here. This will advance. But you are getting tested at the end of this month, dear Aquarius. And you, if that strength card came out twice, please, for the love of heaven and earth, listen to what this card says. You do not want to go back. This isn't a game where you advance once, go back 3 steps, because that's exactly what's going to happen. You advanced once, and now you're going back 3 steps all the way to January. So Aquarius, this is the advice I have for you for March. Decide who you want to be. Decide what world you want to live in. You won't have the final plan. That's okay. Nobody's asking you to submit your final plans here, okay? You just need to be committed to wanting to build a better world for yourself and those surrounding you and who you love. Get a journal. Do the work. But at the end of the month, remember these words. When either the proposition comes in, the invitation comes in, or a strong emotion comes in, that is your test, whether you go back 3 steps or you stay true to your transformation. Aquarius, this is the guidance I have for you for the month of March. Take what resonates, please leave the rest. Do consult your rising moon and sun sign. Those can piggyback on some of this energy and some of these messages. If you're still unclear, go back and look at your annual, relive those messages. It may put things in perspective. But all I could do is wish you lots of strength. Hope that you are true to yourself and the path and the transformation you want to take. And join me for the weekly messages in March. And do leave comments. I'd love to hear your story and see how this transformation goes on for you. So don't be shy. Leave me the comments there. That's all I got for you, Aquarius. And take care. Bye.